Hi, Mike. How you doing?
When are you going to spring training?
Next Tuesday. First game will be next Wednesday.
How long are you staying for?
Only 4 days, and then go back later.
No chance to go to the beach?
In sweatpants?
You beat me to it.
Yeah, Mike and Steve Shear, who's a producer for Fox now, let's go to Jones Beach.
Right.
And I never went to the beach as a kid.
No, I didn't
And I
either.
said, what do you wear to the beach? So one of them said, well, put sweatpants on.
And you listened?
Yeah.
But did that make sense?
Well, I guess I thought maybe cover up my legs. Anyway, I had sweatpants on. I mean, I got roasted. I went to work, and I was a PA announcer for the New York Pro Summer League in Harlem. And I'm standing there talking to somebody. I passed out face first. Just fell down like...
That was the picture with the Budweiser hat, right?
Yeah, that's right. So then that's Mike's fault. And he was laughing as I told him.
He's laughing now.
Yeah, I could have crushed my skull falling face first. Or you could have crushed the floor.
When you showed up and we saw you with a sweater.
Good friend, right?
Well, you have to laugh that you would be that gullible.
No, I'm that dumb. I'm not that bright. I told you I'm here on scholarship. Financial aid, whatever you want to call it. Mike, what's closer to the truth? 22-22 or losing 12-14 for the Knicks?
Well, you always what your record is.
Thank you, Parcells.
I always go by that. But I will say this. When they went in the tailspin, a lot of it had to do with who was out of the lineup. This team is a much improved team, but they still don't have a large margin for error. So, say that stretch where the initial stretch they lost 9 of 10 that really kind of threw them sideways. Carmelo Anthony missed 3 or 4 games, and 2 of the others he was bothered by a knee. Porzingis missed a game. Lance Thomas missed 3 or 4, and he had become a big part of their success. Calderon missed 3, and whether or not you're a Calderon fan or you go crazy and you want him out of the starting lineup, he's still a guy that ran the offense well for them when they were successful, and they don't have that margin for error, and that was a big part of it. And there were several games in there where they fought until the end and came close. So the injuries really crushed them, and injuries are a part of the NBA. I understand that, but for some teams, you really have a difficult chance winning because they just didn't have that margin for error.
So do you then say that this isn't as big a disappointment, that maybe this could be a team that is better than their record says they are?
Well, they're certainly better than how they've played recently. Mm-hmm. But then it all just, it gets into that stage where, all right, you lose a few in a row and you're starting to, now you all of a sudden, you're starting to feel pressure and you feel like you have to be the one, and you get away from your team play and you get away from this or that, and it just starts to add up. And it, again, they're not good enough to deal with those kind of things. But I felt they were much closer to the team that was 500 than the team that's played recently.
What I don't get, and we talked about this yesterday, I did not like the Toronto game at all, Mike. I watched almost the entire game, and I did see a lack of try in the middle of the third quarter, like they phoned it in. And I started to think, why aren't the young guys playing more? I mean, the Knicks are not making the playoffs this year. Why is Calderon playing? He's not the answer. I'm not saying that Jaren Grant's the answer, Mike, but don't you want to see what you have? Jimmer Fredette's certainly not the answer, but you have to wait till the 2-minute mark. And I know their excuse, he doesn't know the plays or whatever, but the Westchester Knicks supposedly run the same system. So, I mean, when do you stop playing a guy like Calderon if the Knicks are not making the playoffs?
Well, with Grant, I think you're going to start seeing him play on a regular basis now. But the way it was, and the players felt the same way as Kurt Rambis, they wanted to get to the playoffs. And if they came out of the All-Star break and won 4 in a row or won 6 of 7, which they're certainly capable of doing, all of a sudden you're back in the race. You're right smack in it. The way it is right now, you win 4 in a row, you can move up 3 spots. So I understand that part of doing it. I think now with the loss the other night, and if a few more come now, it's going to be almost impossible for them to reach the postseason. And that's when you change your agenda. That's when you start saying, okay, it's time to really find out about this kid Grant. Let him play. As for Jimmer Fredette the other night, he didn't even have a practice yet. So I get that of not having him play. But I think now, again, if they lose a few more games and fall further out, then you'll see him get a chance. Can he be a guy that can come off the bench and provide you with some scoring punch? So at that particular time the other night, I understood what Kurt Rambis was doing.
Well, so let's talk about Rambis here. What is he going to be judged on? Because it's probably going to be tough wins and losses, right? So what are you going to look for to see if he's got a legitimate shot of actually becoming the head coach of this team next year?
Yeah, that's a good question, Don. I think, Phil Jackson thinks a lot differently than the average person in basketball. He's always been kind of on his own in terms of his thoughts and the way he's doing things. But my guess is that he wants to see the team progress, play well together, see the young players progress, see them play hard, see them be competitive, see them be unselfish at both ends, that type of thing. I do think it's probably going to be a long shot for him to come back next year. But again, you just never know.